Hello everyone, today let's make a super detailed guide on how we are going to fight these bosses of the Crucible event. Let's also see who are the best options, but above all the most important
Let's see how we
should fight him to be able to defeat it in the simplest way, and that the expense is as
So
low
stay
as
until
possible,
the end
that
of
we
the
will
video.
know all this information. And before that, don't forget to subscribe and support us with a like. That this will help us a lot. Now, just to begin with, don't forget that I have already uploaded. 3-4 days ago, I uploaded a guidebook, a video in which I'll explain to you about the operation of this event. Also explain to you on what were to be the best options. For that, I left you a link to a file in which you just clicked on it and you will see it. This option should be opening up now. In this option, I have given you the best alternatives I have ever been there, using during the course of these days. It is worth mentioning that to 3 days ago, I have been streaming about these battles, and I comment that I have even been using a small account with only 5 stars. And thanks to these defenders, we have held the event. Spent something minimal, yes, but I consider that the truth. Having such a guide helps you a lot, because you are going to know which character you are going to use this time, and if another boss, you may not be using it, or you will be using it. Then which one do you prioritize? Well then, only. If you hadn't seen that video before, there it is. You already have good weather, and download this guide so that you can observe it. Well now, the first battle is probably one of the simplest battles, because only we have to carry a character from the cosmic class. First, let's go show ourselves here. The explanation will be as quick as possible, because the truth, I can't put all the battles on you. Otherwise, this would be totally extensive. Then for that part, on the left side will be the bosses. For the center part will be the counter direct. And for the right side are going to be like the best alternatives. Well here, basically the most recommendable is to carry characters of the cosmic class. Characters that activate improvements, but characters that will not leave disadvantages. Because if we leave disadvantages, these disadvantages can be reapplied to us. This is mentioned in the nod itself. Then it is a simple battle, recommended if it is to intercept. And once we intercept, you will see that the result will be much better, because we will gain a passive fury. Well, let's move on to the second battle here. We can hit it with any character. If you want the easiest battle, bring characters that can passively stun, which would be those of the cosmic class, as a storm. Pyramid storm that at Odla this Bugwai, because it has the tenacity node, but above all, have the node of vulnerable stun. That is, once we stun him, then our damage is going to be much greater. Well, now we could take another character we could make a stop at. The stop will not operate, but once we any blow from it, will be activated. What would be passive stunning, and we could also handle it like this, is a simple battle that is not very complicated, is just to keep an eye on it. For this next battle, as only a character must be worn, not to activate many improvements. That is personally a scientist, and above all, a character who leaves the disadvantage of slowness. Why? Because he is commenting on us that the defender is going to obtain an improvement of illusion every time I launch a super special. Then every time then I threw you the super special, you will be able to join any blow. Simply, let's bring in someone who leaves Lucio's disadvantage from slowness, and with that problem solved. And don't forget to do this kind of combo, combo of 5 strokes and end in weak stroke, end in a half stroke, and so on, to gain improvements of fury. Hence the battle. There are no major complications. For this next battle that would be against Venom, it is advisable to wear a character that who is immune to bleeding here. I personally hit it with the clairvoyant that it was the only option I had at the time. But if you have a ghost, you have the bald guy of the absorbing man, a Das Colosso, or other characters who have charisma. The truth is that anyone will be able to serve you. For this next battle, that would be the elf. Green Goblin, I was recommended to hit it with Gallant. And the truth is that it was a very good alternative. Why? Because, here's a node whose name is Red Living, in which he comments that the attacker has more than 33% of his power, but if we go over 75%, all this power would theoretically be draining away. However, Gala as Hulklin are characters immune to this type of disadvantage. Then they are not going to. Will not lose power. But in the case of Gal N, what you are going to do is when every time you want to drain power, we'll be winning either loads of harvesting in a super fast way. Then it's going to make the battle much easier already. And the truth is that if you didn't have a Gallon, I gave you many alternatives that I believe they will be able to help you. Well, let's move on now to this battle. This battle it got a little more complicated than usual. Mostly because I have the character I wore. That it was a man-suit stealth. 5-star era. And every time I left him with the disadvantage of exhausting, as this had a benefit that prevented me from being inflicted with damage by the node, but unfortunately every time I hit him, it did not generate power to him. And also, the disadvantages of exhaustion end was very short-lived, but the most complicated thing was that my super special didn't do much harm to him, probably because it was 5 stars. Should apply good damage to it, because the battle was complicated for me. Well, the point of carrying that characters can leave the shock disadvantage, disorientation, exhaustion, or provocation. I was recommended to take a classic man, which leaves many disadvantages of provocation, the same as it would be with Adam Warlow No, and we already know that Nick Fury can leave the disadvantage of disorientation. Then probably for me they are going to be among the best alternatives, next to the Man Stark upgrade. Then I would recommend any of these for characters, so that you can defeat that. To that kingdom, it is only to leave that disadvantage to it, and after that, we could take him down with a super special. Otherwise, you will never be able to kill him. For this next battle, the truth is very simple, only I think I hit him with a Black Panther. Is every time we are going to activate any improvement, this is going to cancel and regenerate the opponent. But the good thing is that we have the interception node. That will increase our damage. The truth is that I don't see it as very complicated, and this is how the Buffett node wins. I don't see that much difficulty, because it will be very aggressive. This will cause us to activate the node, Foresight or Interception Notice. The only thing to keep in mind is that we do not abuse Stop Mastery, because it will leave us with a disadvantage of disorienting. That our defensive ability diminishes. And also not to forget, that will be constantly gaining power, thanks to the fact that it has a node of type to energize already. But most recommended would be to bring characters that do not activate improvements. Well, now, for this battle, I gave them with Magneto, and I gave them with a Magneto. I think it was 5 stars. The only thing you do have to do in this battle, it is first to apply a super special, 2 to leave it with a disadvantage, and then apply your strong blows to renew this disadvantage, and then your SP. 3, I made the mistake at the beginning of applying a super special 3, but I did not apply much damage, obviously, because the more robust your advantage he has, he is going to be more resistant then. Then I applied what I am mentioning, not from a super special start, and then super special 3. The good thing is that, since it has the metal label, we can counteract the armor. The pin armature node and the other nodes do not. If only you didn't have him. Hercules could be a very good option. Wong would also be nice. Also be the Supreme Sorceress. The Absorbing Man in the form of Yuru could also be good alternatives. But as I come back and repeat, if you didn't have the 6-star version, the 5-star Magneto can work for you. If only you had both. Use it here, and use Magneto for another battle that it deems most convenient. But the truth is that with the 5-star, it was very quiet for us. Well, let's now go to battle with this bald guy. Against this bald guy, the best thing to do is to hit it obviously with the Absorbing Man, because it's going to electrocute him. Because this bald guy is going to do is that every time I go to launch a super special, you will be playing with the disadvantage. But, if you don't take the bald guy, yes, if you don't take, sorry to the Absorbing Man, you can complicate the battle. Because that must also be added to the disadvantage of Cold Snap. That can leave then it can lower your life considerably. And without forgetting that our blow does no harm, are only our super specials. Then I would tell you to take the Absorbing Man with you, if in case you didn't have the Absorbing Man, yes or no. Take a Dr. Doom. But if you take Dr. Doom, don't use the. Do not use strong blows. Uses only traditional strokes. You can use Super Special 3, yes, but I wouldn't recommend using a Z. What would be the hard blows? Because every time you go, I've won. Because, for example, if you have it duplicated and you win on a power upgrade, and thanks to the duplicate Dr. Doom, you have an improvement. This is going this improvement that you are going to win. In theory, you will be eliminated. And you will be given a drain of powers. Then keep this in mind. If you use a Dr. Dunta with traditional strokes, SP3, or in any case SP2, I would personally tell you that P2 would be much better. And the good thing is that it is also without I hit him with this. With White Tiger, because it had no other alternatives. But still in the guide that sees you, that I left you, there are many options for. In case I did not have a certain character, well, this battle is simple. It's just to corner her and can lead inclusive to Dr. Doom of 5 stars, and just having it around the corner. But remember that it has to be duplicated to the maximum to be 100% effective. Let's move on to the... Next battle for the battle with Jogar now. As only, take into account that we have to carry a character who has a smile on her face. And that it can gain improvements because I no longer know that if we do not have active improvements, we won't be able to do much damage to this Jagger. It is not on the part of the node, then yes or no. We have to take someone who is that is immune and can gain improvement. Then and now, part of the node. It's not that we have to gain improvements per se. We're going to have the Rising Sun node, in which it is telling us that every time we hit the opponent, we will be gaining rage improvements. And if we reach 10 improvements of Fury, we're going to suffer a degeneration disadvantage. But every time we make a strong hit, we will eliminate all the advantages of Fury. That we go we have at that time, then it can be a long battle, but it is best to leave, as someone to leave the disadvantage of slowness. With that, the problem would already be solved. I hit him with the Hulka, but you didn't have the Hulka. Shinkai could also be a good option, as long as it loses its rotation. But if not, you could hit it with other characters that are immune. And good. You're going to have to keep a little bit of an eye out for that. Of disadvantages. Sorry for his unstoppable nothing more. For the next battle against Wolverine, it was advisable to carry someone who leaves poisoning, like the Devil, so that our damage is greatly enhanced, or simply carry a distracted lady. In the end, I don't think I had any of those options. And I think I hit Warlock. And the truth is that it was a simple battle, because Warlow is also a direct counter of the X-Arm. But any of those options are good. Otherwise, You may find it with Archangel Magneto, Mega Sentinel, or Scorpion, which leaves several disadvantages of poisoning. Well, for this battle, we already know that he has the ability to Electro. That is, every time we hit him, he will not harm him, thanks to its ability to have thorns. But also has the node. Every 10 strokes on a combo meter, we're going to suffer a weakening, which will cause our coup to fail. So this is it. Keep an eye on our combo meter. That is, every time we reach 10 strokes, then kind of stop, we reached hit number 10, and that's no longer hit it. So that, well, to finalize this, that fading ability, unless we carry a character that has the ability to power it, same to hit, or ignore the ruling no, then that could be, but the truth can be found with anyone. Well, not with just anyone. Not better with characters that its blows do not establish or contact, that and can reduce the pressure of abilities so that it can. This thorn ability won't kill you. For 200 was not maybe. Most recommended for the subject of faltering, which means that it cannot make the most of some Peru. Rex, but if you had other options. Could hit Falcon with its target set. Teacher X, who does not establish contacts or blows. Media could give it with Mega Sonic, which would I think the most recommendable would be the Mega Sonic, because none of your stroke establishes contact. Prowler either. I believe that your medium stroke does not make contact. The same thing that Onslaught would not either. Their blows establish contact with the opponent. And Discord, that its medium strokes also do not establish contact. It would also be very beneficial to you. But the bad thing about hitting it with Discord, we will not be able to leave him at the disadvantage of high voltage because, well as he has the Electro ability. Then we will not be able to do him that kind of damage. Not for you to take into account. If in any case you did not have other alternatives, it would be fine. Let's move on now, With this would be the Punishing Angel. Well, it would be a fusion of Angela. With Punisher here, I swear I'm very sincere. I no longer wanted to read the note too much. The only thing I did was to bring in. Put Magneto in and that's it. Simply the only thing you have to do is not to take it to Super Special 2. So that so that she is not gaining too many efficiency. Because if so, believe me that is going to become unlockable. And it's going to be certain death. That is pure Super Special. That is just every time one more. She comes to us. We will be as if immune to the disadvantage. We are going to have to pretend that the double stop is right. Then, we could carry any character in the class, mutant that. That can still stun him as if he were a buck. A storm, but I would say the best thing. The best is going to be Magneto, so that you are no longer reading this whole node. That can be complicated. And let's go in a calm manner. Well, the next battle, which would be a Carnage fused with Nightcrawl, the only thing we should do, It has to be a character that I can leave, Disadvantages of high voltage. You will see that, thanks to this disadvantage, we will be able to kill the opponent super fast. Or in any case, also leave him with a poisoning disadvantage. I believe that either of these two characters, will be able to help us. It's a quick battle I hit him at the end with Iron Man and Famous, and it was a super simple battle. Just avoid being this, trying to bring to swordsman mode. If it works for you, congratulations. But if it doesn't work for you, believe me, it is not necessary. Not only now handle it with stop and problem solved. For this next battle, the complicated thing is that if we apply many critical hits, the disadvantage will be left to us. And the damage it will do, because it is going to be very high. Time he launches his super specials, will activate the inverted controls. Personally, I recommend that every time you go to activate your super specials, to stay away, or in any case, do not try to avoid it. In case you do not master too much, what would be the subject of the controls reversed? I would personally tell you to take Archangel, which would be a very good alternative, so that you can eliminate all his abilities, or in any case Human Torch, I believe that could also work. I think it could also work what would be Ronan, but I'm not 100% sure, because as she's a princess going together with a witch, I think it can elude you. Also on Tuesday, I think I am not 100% but I better not sure. Recommend it, because of class disadvantage. Take yourself to Archangel in any case. You could take a torch or Sunspot with you, or other characters in the guide. Well, let us now move on to this battle, which would be 1-1 Phoenix with a Crusader with an Iceman A. Here is the only thing to keep in mind, is that we will be activated by the rooting disadvantage. Unless that we launch our super specials, is going to have a greater gain in power, and we do have to carry a character that is immune to the cold snap, freezing, so that in this way, we're not going to lose enough life. Because believe me that if we don't wear that type of character, the damage he is going to apply to us is going to be very, very high. I hit him with Sasquatch, and it was a simple battle. A little bit extensive, but the truth is that it was very manageable. There are many alternatives that I have put in the guide, so I recommend that you can see it well. Now, the battle with a good period the truth. I hit him with Massacre. Why? Because here, he will tell us that every time he suffers a disadvantage of, or high voltage or cold snap, the defender to see. No, sorry, excuse me. Here is a part in which he comments that he does suffer from the disadvantages, or high voltage. She won't be able to regenerate then, This will therefore be that. Let the battle be the most basic common truth. That is, it is to carry characters whose blows are not energetic. And then, in this way, we will be preventing them from regenerating. That is, a character can work. That their blows are energetic, as long as you leave the disadvantage. And high voltage, then there would be no problem there. But there would be, is going to make it a little longer battle. Most recommended, the blows are going to be physical, and who have the ability to leave at least. Disadvantages in Signition or high voltage. For example, I put Magneto as the best counter, because she has the metal label. Warlock works for you. Ronin also works for you because when the defender reaches to bars, will obtain better efficiency, so it's the best. I finally hit him with pure Super Special Massacre. One was simple. The same would be with Hulkbuster 2E. Gamora is also very good because thanks to its Super Special 3, it can leave a high voltage disadvantage. Then she can get quite a rage. And it could also counteract the ability of the Empire. Well, that's this part of here. Now, let's move on to the 7-point to part here. The truth is that we could wear any character. Just take into account that every so often, the defender is going to get an unstoppable improvement for 4 seconds. To move away every time stability is to be activated, or in any case, also go intercepting. Why? Because it goes that way. We will be gaining an improvement of Fury. We can find different characters. I would say that with any character, just do not use the Mastery Stop. But if you want, in the simplest way, take a mutant who overrides his abilities, like Apocalypse, Onla, or others, so that you can make it standing up without being there with great concern. And if we take someone, that leaves the disadvantage because it is going to be much better, even because our damage will increase. The battle against Magneto, we could give it with a Human Torch. We could hit it with magic. I finally hit him with Tigra. But do take into account that we will not be able to activate many improvements, because if we activate many improvements, we'll be activated the No of Rancor, which is going to obtain a very high putting gain. So this should be taken into account. That's why I'm telling you it would be better to hit him with a magic, so that we block his power and problem solved. And every time we... let's hit 1 hit plus 1 basic hit on Magneto. We're going to be winning like a load. A load of honey. In which, when we launched a super special and we will be given a Fury advantage. Then this is going to make it obviously. His resentment ability will be activated. Then it is necessary to take into account these skills or these knots. Because, yes, it can complicate the battle if you dominate Tigra. For me, it will be one of the best alternatives. Opposite case. Or North America. I think they are going to be one of the best options, along with the other options I have given you in the guide. For this battle against Modek, I hit Falcon now. I hit him with Killmonger. With Killmonger, I gave him what? Basically here. The only thing we have to do is to contrast its automatic locking ability. We counteract this automatic locking ability. And with that, we eliminate all that nodes. Stampede node, especially, and because it will gain a load of overwhelming power, is going to increase its of combat power and its attack force. If in case for X reasons he wins it, we can remove it as long as we interrupt some of your attacks, of their strong attacks in a way that, then the truth is still manageable. But yes or no, it is advisable to work characters override your automatic lock ability, as Magneto, Falcon, aka Bishu. This Odin or other characters well now vs. against Guardian. What I went to take was I took to A. Venom was recommended to me. The truth is that I considered it to be. It was a bit of a slow battle, and more than anything because the bad thing about Venom is that you remove its Guardian robustness with Super Special one, or you remove it with the Strong Blow. The bad thing about making the hard is that your advantages are also makes your blows do not be so strong. Venom still considers that is also a good option, but it is if you have other options such as Magneto or Adam Warlock, I think they will be better options, or even up to the same. I think Medusa. Medusa also leaves a lot of disadvantage. So here the point is just to carry a character that can nullify its robust advantage. Because you know that if he has his advantage robustness, you will be able to do an automatic lock. Then our blow does not inflict only our powers. Let's bring someone who nullifies its robustness advantage. And we have already launched our super special. Problem solved. There is no major something else we have to do. Good for this battle. This battle does. The only thing you have to do is to corner Magneto. And once you're in the corner, hit it so that in this way you efficiency loads. Since your blows will not apply much damage to it, only your super specials. But keep in mind that while more efficiency advantages also have Magneto, your power gain will then increase. Keep in mind that wait, in any case, if you're going to throw a super special, better than to launch its entire power because bar. It won't be that you throw and I loaded him. The 3 bars because that happened to me to corner him. You gain good efficiency loads. Hope it does not have the power bar, and just launched your super special. That way, you will see that the battle. You will be able to handle it very well. Well now, let's move on to
Here
THECRUCIBLE.
you can find any character, but avoid carrying characters that activate improvements, so that it is not gaining much power.
I hit him with Captain America.
Infinity War, all you have to do is stop. Hard blow, stop, and hit hard the character you're going to use. So I don't see this major complication in it. Well now, let's move on to the Venom Duckling ad. In the case of the Venom Duckling, you have to wear a character that inflicts critical blows at. You can benefit from the node, yes, but I suggest you better wear characters that inflict critical blows detected, or who are more likely to infringe. That kind of good. I took for example Shanghai, but if you don't have Shanghai, we have Tubulsa and we have a hit monkey, a ghost man improvement of Star, or Hulk. Who are the most frequently influential characters? Critical blows, I don't see him as older than anything extra that you only have to perform. Make critical hits and problem solved. That does take into account that every time we apply critical blows to it. And I think he becomes unblockable. Well, then we have to take it into account a little bit. Because the character is thanks to the not very aggressive character. But if we have that kind of characters, for we will be able to carry out this battle. Well hit monkey, I was recommended to hit him with Danny Monster, and more than anything else, it can leave the disadvantage of passive slowness. Then, we already know that something complicated about this little monkey is that if we take it down, we'll be winning. A Velia in which he will not be able to avoid. And immediately counterattacks us. And why did they put that on it? Because we also have the strong assault node. That is, our strong blows are going to be will increase by 500%. But at the same time, it has the life cycle node. That we will not be able to apply damages due to disadvantages. Then, yes, we are going to have to tear it down. Because remember that the new life cycle works. That's the more we tear it down, the connector is being deactivated. Then so that it does not get to complicate. Take Donnie Mustera. Uses the super special one. We leave you with the disadvantage and problem solved. If you didn't have to, you could use Domino. You could use Apocalypse. But keep in mind that you will be able to avoid. In any case, what you could do is to tear it down. His ability too. And in that way, you could already handle it. So the battle can be a little slower, yes. But the important thing is that the battle is going to be like this. Good for the next battle, the Punisher. I remember hitting the end with Word. The only thing to take into account is that every time you are about to get a power bar, that you throw it to him at that moment. So that in this way, disables the wave protector node. If you don't throw it, and he will throw power at you, and he will throw power at you. Very complicated. Because the Punisher, remember that it has a high blocking penetration, then the ideal will be that. That he called. There is also this new wave protector. Because if you don't lose every time I go to launch super special, every time he launches his super special, will not lose the entire power bar, but only a percentage. Well then, don't forget that because it can be complicated for you. The battle with Nova, the truth. I was recommended to hit it with Doom. I was going to hit him with Jaggernaut, but the truth is that with Dr. Doom, it was very fast. Because every time I annulled some of their abilities of Fury or of power, I was leaving him with a Degeneration. Was this one very manageable? The truth was super quiet. Is just to leave him with the numbness. And every time I was going to gain some improvements, I was going to cancel them out. Or I could even stealing power with the super special. And so we handle the whole battle here. There is no major this. Greatest story we can make. That's basically now. This battle against Immortalation. It can be complicated. The truth as we have to carry first a character who is or is immune to radiation, or a character that can purify its disadvantages. Personally, I would say they should wear an immune character better, so that you are not too preoccupied with yourself. Here to take into account that he has the kinetic transfer nova, so it does not is going to gain a lot of power. That's why I'm telling you not to take him to super special to the super special. We'll have the collapse node. In other words, what this node is going to do is to every time a super attack is activated, will be left as a disadvantage, so to speak. If this disadvantage ends,
On our side, that is collapses. Then we're going to lose a lot of life. That's why we should launch a super special for you, in order to pass this collapse to the opponent. That is, the only way to pass the collapse is launching super specials. However, there's a node in which it has the name, a hostile terrain, in which he comments that every time we launch a super, the same super special, a delayed explosion will be applied to us for 5 seconds, which is obviously going to apply a lot of life to us. But the good thing is that if we apply a strong blow before the end, this explosion, then we are going to eliminate this node. But I would personally tell you to use super special, a super special 1, 2 super special 3, so that you don't get too complicated. Good for the next battle, eh? Against Man-Thing, I finally hit him with Hale. The truth is that it was a very simple battle. Only our blows going good. Our super specials will inflict harm. Avoid wearing characters that inflict energy damage, because they will not apply the damage to him that the character will need. Because he has that granddaughter's high energy diet, well-wear class character means that mainly do damage by physical blows. Nothing more for this battle with Boy Yes. I think it got a little complicated. Because the Nick Fura that had was as low as 5 stars, I didn't even have the 6th version. And here, you must carry a character who has the ability to purify, or in any case, a character that leaves many disadvantages. Because it has him. Safeguard will prevent that the defender used more than 1% of his life. And if in any case we demolished it, and more than 5 disadvantages, more than 6 disadvantages, then to us, a direct burst of damage will be applied to us. If the case, we knocked it down and it has more than 6 disadvantages, so will be applied this 500% damage from our force directly to it. The Nick Fiber with super special too. You can leave it with several disadvantages. Another character who leaves many disadvantages would also be the Sensual Origin, or it could also be War Machine No. If you do not have them, you could use a Morbius. You could use a Smile, or also use some Mole Man or other characters, but tries to take it down just in time. Know that you will leave several disadvantages. Otherwise, you will have to kill him with pure blow. And don't forget about the disadvantages that he is leaving you. Well, this battle with Venom Pool is just a hit. Hit. Nothing more. To exchange our type of combo at once by the faint node, so that in this way, we either die as if a fury that increases our harm, as only take into account that we will not be able to apply damages due to disadvantages, because it has a free buffet mode. That is, it will be able to purify and if we generate 10 loads of tempo, these 10 loads are being generated every time we leave it at a disadvantage. If we generate 10 standing charges, once the stopwatch is running, then he will suffer as one of a degeneration. Then they are just wearing it like this. We can do it well. The ideal is to wear characters that inflict disadvantages. Nothing more like the battle against Dragon Man. I recommend hitting it with Torch or Boy. If you hit it with a Torch, just do not activate their prelude, because you have to leave in disadvantage. If in case you want to deactivate the Stun Killer node. No, it is not necessary to carry this. Carry a character that leaves in generation, because you could handle it without stun it. The truth, and if you want to do it this way, take the Torch and do not activate. Your skill Preluca Boy would be a very good option, because you would be counteracting his ability, Copy of Power, thanks to its petrification. Ham or other characters as Sunspot will also be good alternatives. Still remember to see all the alternatives I have put in the guide. Well, let's move now here against Good Purian or Good Master's Degree. Here I hit him with Hercules. I will not explain much here, because I have already uploaded a whole guide on how to defeat her. So if you don't know its phases, I would say that better. Go and observe her, so that in this way you can defeat it in the simplest way. Oh, what an egg.
died already. People died. This is way 1. Now, let's move on to path 2. Here on the way to I gave to. This red Loven was hit with. Love with A. What is the name of this cosmic film with Ronan the Accuser? The only thing I had to do was to stop. Stop so that in this way, he's gaining quite a few advantages in Fury. When it already has at least 6 advantages of Fury, at least I can throw my super special 1 at you. It doesn't matter if your Ronan is 5 stars. Even no matter if it is for star. The important thing is that it is minimum, even if it is 1 times 40, and that is more than enough. Round with the 1 I gave it, I think it was 6 stars, 2, and I think I was 60% skill. The only thing I did is to generate a lot of anger. I can keep this one stunned all the time. If unfortunately, I didn't have that round use it, it will make the battle much easier for you. Good for the next battle, I hit it with Null. Because thanks to Null's ability, I will be able to leave you with several disadvantages. D. Demolici M. Why? Because if he activates some robustness advantage, he's going to become unblockable. Then this, it can complicate the battle. Without forgetting that he also has the ability to illusion. Its ability also to. Your skill accuracy is increasing by 200%. Then the truth is that with Null, it was a battle. Very manageable, as only was to leave him with the disadvantage. Use medium strokes, strong blow, and super special. These 3 blows cannot be avoided. In other words, it will not be able to avoid in any way. You will see that you will handle it very well, really. I think I ranked 2 out of 6 stars. That is very short. Then I think it's for me. Of the best alternatives, if you didn't have it, Hercules will also be a good choice. Magneto could also serve you well. For the next battle, yes, I would tell you, give it better with a ghost. Bullside, or in any case. Shankai or man better than star. Well, this is almost the same thing, the same node that had the duck venom, in which we can only apply damage to you, as long as our blows are critical. The only difference is that he will be more aggressive. Oh well, so was Venom the Duck. But, your super specials of him are going to be unlocked. So, if you don't know how to do a super special part, one you will have to perform. But I believe that already at present, most of them. And most of it is already well known against Holly Mortal. The only thing I would say, that you're going to have to be very careful to take it down. And if you know how to intercept, it will be much better. The good thing is that he has the No of Aggressiveness, can be intercepted in a simpler way. Here you can hit it with any character. The point is that when he goes to die, must not have any burden of it. Which reports without delicacy, because if it has any load of this load is going to make him kind of hold on. The last blow, who's going to die and applies direct harm to you, then the point is always to tear it down, or intercepting so that these charges will disappear. Well, these loads are activated every time we do. We perform a stroke, or we get a stroke of a counter, not of 5 strokes. Then, and also has the ebb flow number. We are going to have to tear it down. Because otherwise, our blows will be limited. Well, and that's for sure. The characters we carry that are better characters, that inflict damage by physical blow. Because it also has high energy. Well, so that it does not get complicated. Good for the battle against Comic Rider. The only thing you don't have to do is to take it to Super Special too. That will be more than enough to bring a character who is immune to. Because it tells us, what is it when the defender activates an overattack? The attacker suffers an anti-healing and a disadvantage of ammunition. Why this is important? Because he also informs us that every time the attacker has 3 or more disadvantages, the defender becomes unblockable. Then in this way, whether we are immune to or purify, then we are going to counteract this knot. Without forgetting that also this royal code has a very good gain in power.
In this case, we do not want it to get complicated.
We could also carry a purifier.
Or thousands. That can become. Attacks, super specials that are unblockable. We could have him cornered, couldn't we? But avoids that in any case. To launch the super special.
Only pure super special.
When I hit him with Sasquatchy, it was a battle. Calm the truth. Well, let's get to Magneto here now with apologies. Aha to Logan. Old Logan here I hit him with at the end with. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that every 10 strokes on the meter of our combo, we're going to suffer a weakening. That is, we were reaching combo 10. I expected the falter to be activated. I was walking away once I finished again, attacked him, and ready, we have nothing else to do. Because the rest is already very manageable, to be honest. The other knots. Cool, I didn't notice that. Ready faster, I think it was with wool. Well, let's move on now with home. With home, what I did was to take Elsa Blowstone, I was told to hit better with Falcon. Because, with Falco, he tells me with his target set you eliminate. Apart from solution, you also delete a node in which you comment to us. That the attacker, we are going to obtain. When we press a power bar, we are going to suffer an electric home disadvantage. I was told that with Falcon. Eliminated the sharp power node. And also of illusion. I really don't know. But if so, in any case, I would tell you to use Falcon. Well, I took Elsa Blossom. Because you know that Blossom can eliminate the opponent's illusion every time we leave it an advantage of La Incinerasi and also we can purify non-harmful disadvantages. So this is why I'm going to hit him with that. And the truth is that the result was very good. Remember, he has no deep bleeding. Poisoning, that is Archangel, is not going to work for you. If you didn't have those options, could lead to Venom itself. You could also take a Mole Man Shanji Crossbomb. So we will have options. At least for this battle. Good for the next battle, Man improves on being at the end. I hit it with Red Globy. Globy Network has a skill in which it goes to prevent all spiders from evading you. Then I said, well, let's take Red Globy better. And the truth is that it was simple. The good thing is that our strong blow is repowered. Every time we use it, we will inflict 500% more damage. But remember that every time you're sick mana. Better this one. Or, well, suffer from a non-harmful disadvantage. That one is going to be unblockable. Then we have to wait for the end. And then we counterattack. Well, the truth, you could hit it with him with Hercules. You could also hit it with Gladiator, who would make a very good character. But the bad thing about hitting him with a Gladiator is that it will be able to you. Then if we do the same base attack, he will be able to us. Thanks to the Mix's master node. Then I would recommend you better. Someone who can stop being slow. Or to avoid the advantage of illusion. Not like Venom, which would be a good choice. Do not see a Globy Red. This Kaibsho, even Magneto, that eliminates their abilities. So those are the characters that I personally I would recommend you, and well already against. Man stealth suit at the end, I used Venom. Here, the only thing we have to do is to intercept. Intercept, because that way we are going to gain a fury. That will increase our damage. Do not abuse Stop Mastery, because it has the tenacity mode. And also, keep in mind that if we tear it down, we'll gain loads of illusion. Obviously, if we take Venom, let's eliminate these skills. And I do not recommend wearing a lot at the end. Null can also help you. But the issue of hitting it with Null is that as it goes, it has the new tenacity. Your disadvantage is not going to have duration. Could lead to Magneto. You could also bring Mega Sonic, that its disadvantages are passive. Could also lead to Sunspot, that if the character is purified his disadvantage. I think he is gaining a lot of burdens anyway, and this will facilitate the battle. Falcon with its target set, or the same Crowman, which will also be able to eliminate the opponent's illusion. Well then now, let's move on to Doctor Strange. Here the truth is that I did not have very good alternatives. Here is one of the best options. Well, it's going to be a Wicca. Who can leave his disadvantage of? To neutralize. The good thing we can compare to Tigra is that your we can neutralize Hazakana have a long duration. And why it is important? Because every time Doctor Strange get an armor upgrade, it's kind of going to apply direct damage to us. Every time we hit it, it is as if it had thorns. Once this advantage has ended, that's where will no longer apply this damage to us. But also, the complicated thing is that if the defender will obtain a large percentage each time that an improvement is nullified or aspired in us, then we can't be carrying characters that active improvements, or we cannot be abusing too much the mastery of. To avoid, because our precision advantage will be activated, power will be gaining, without forgetting that also the controls, running and dodging, will be invested every time he is going to activate his super specials. So the truth is that it does have complications, and that's why I'm telling you that Wiccan is going to be very good. Because Wiccan can eliminate all these abilities. In case you didn't have Wiccan in the end, I hit him with magic. The magic, although the I gave it was a very low rank. I think it was of rank. This rank 4 out of 5 stars. Then it was not even maximum range. So the only thing I did was to block his power. And that's how I've been handling the whole battle. I could not defeat the robustness in the end, so I did it later. But it was a little bit very complicated. I think a jogger now a devil, even a love could be a very good option. Dr. Doom could also be another good alternative. But I do believe that there are better options. Don't I? The only bad thing about magic is that only 5 stars. If only it were a 6-star, I think it would be a much better alternative. But 5 stars is not a bad option, unless you are at full and well enhanced. And I think so. You do take it out of excess. Well, let's move on now here for this battle. The symbiote his dog, in which here, yes. I would say, what better way to hit it with a human torch? Why? Because it has a node in which we are going to have to tear it down. Every time I launch the super special, immune to stun. Could hit it with the mole. If you want something quiet, because the mole is immune cancellation, you can avoid super specials and nothing is going to happen. Because more than anything else, the problem with him is whether he has any advantage, either even avoiding it and cancels it out for you. Then it will apply a lot of life to you. That's how complicated it is with him. But with the mole, because that is not going to happen, because he is immune. Take into account that we have to demolish it to deactivate its node. And if he throws super special, he is going to get an advantage of immune stun. Now that I forgot it, you could also use Latin America, but remember that thanks to its ability, it will activate an advantage. The same would be true with the use of robustness. With the Supreme Sorceress, we will see it well with good. With the Supreme Sorceress, I would recommend you if you have Mike. For me, it will be the best option, the simplest. Because we are not going to come back, for every time I launch super specials, and we can have it on the corner. If you didn't have it, I would tell you that America will be one of the best options, because she also has the Ranker node. That is, the more improvements she's going to be gaining a lot of power. Then this can become complicated, and without forgetting us, that it has the mold in which, if we activate improvements she's going to gain power. Then it can be complicated. I would tell you that thousands of pounds America Boy, or even the Piglet itself, are going to be one of the best options. You could also use obvious the Scorpion. If you have it duplicated, so much that it can withstand the blows without lockable. Don't be too much dexterity, not so that I am not gaining much power. Well, against Warlock, I hit him in the end. Oh well, I was recommended to give it with. With Gallant. Why with Gallant? First, because we nullified his Warlow ability, but especially for the Linning Network node. Which you already know. Once we arrive, 2 bars of power. If we continue to gain power, everything will be counteracted, but thanks to the node. And no, we're not going to have that limitation. And in this way, we are already going to gain power. Even much faster. And also our crops will be activated in a super fast manner. I hit him with a 6-star star. I think rank 2. And the truth is that the result was very, very good. So I recommend it 100%. Is only to take into account that we can't be launching constant super specials by the node of Scenic Fear. And we also have to tear it down, obviously, so that our harm is not to limit Otherwise, it will limit us, but it is to take it down with a strong attack. If you didn't have Gal N, you have King Grud or Al. King Grud this Everlasting, which are also going to be very good alternatives. Now for the next battle, that would be against Cable. What I would tell you is to keep your... Oh no, sorry, against Elsa Blossom. Against Elsa Blossom, you can hit him with any character, I don't think there is any exception here. If you want to in the simplest way, then take a bug to the storm. Or other characters. But here, the only thing to keep in mind, every certain 15 seconds, we'll get one unstoppable advantage. Then simply every time if this is activated all you have to do is stay away. If in any case it is stunned, as long as this advantage is to be activated. Because in the end, I don't know. No say will not be activated, and the truth is that I don't see much difficulty in it. Only take into account the no of tenacity. Nothing else, I hear. That's why I tell you to bring better characters than can stun him. Just like Stormbug. Pyramid Exe, or in any case like Oslo, no. But you can't hit it with just any character. Just waiting for the completion of it. His unstoppable ability. Do not abuse the mastery standing and hit it. Nothing more. And don't be tearing it down. Or every time you take it down, an illusion skill will be activated. You wait for it to end, and that's it. Nothing more. So we would just have to handle this whole battle. Well, let's move on now with the battle against Cable. In which we do. I recommend you here. Better to take Dr. Doom or America. So that the battle will not be so complicated. Because you're going to be making a lot of profit from power. That Cable, and worst of all, yes, gains a regeneration advantage. That is going to become unblockable. If it becomes unlockable and launches one after Super Special one, believe me, the battle is going to be super complicated. So I don't recommend it to you with Dr. Doom. The Tenlo with pure strong blow. To leave him to we launch Super Special 3, then we steal power. And that's how we handle it. Like a cycle at all. Is for me among the simplest things. Now, if you didn't have any of the above mentioned, remember that you also have Magic 4. Block his Super Special. And that too, because it can kind of help you. But the truth is that I consider that Translator Dune and America came out are going to be the best alternatives. Well, the battle against Ken Superior. I will no longer explain it to you. I already have a video explaining how to defeat him. So if you want to know what their phases are like, I would tell you to go. To be seen immediately. Now, let's move on to the house in which here, the only thing we have to do is to make
We
a
gain
stop.
an advantage of fury, and then sure.
The Dark House coup. To get this way,
Efficiency advantages. So handle it to obtain good efficiency loads.
and then
Launch our super specials to inflict damage,
because that is the condition that the node applies to us. Know this one, we don't have to do anything more extra.
Against Ultron. Against Ultron, you could hit any character. I was recommended to take him to Doctor Doom. I don't really remember if I have used it before. But if you're planning to use Doctor Doom, because they tell me that with Doctor Doom, you can keep it in an infinite cycle. I am told that as long as this. Be it a 6-star or 5-star Doctor Doom.
Because
if you use one of mine or this category, the probability of stunting him is not 100%. If you're planning to use Doctor Doom, and you want to keep him cornered at a pure blow, how you freeze it, then yes or no. It has to be a 6 and 5-star, with maximum uniqueness. Otherwise, believe me, it won't work for you. But if not, well, take a character from the comic wildcard class. Or even the Venom pool itself could be useful for, in order to be able to perform these types of battles. Well, let us now turn to the battle against a guillotine to 099, in which here all we have to do is carry a character that inflicts high voltage, and with that problem solved, the only thing I recommend is that as soon as the battle begins, apply a strong blow to deactivate its layer, so that it does not become invisible, and we can keep on hitting. It is not like that once it ends. Oh, its layer is reactivated, for once again, to perform strong blow and so that their invisibility ability is not activated. Now against Crossbond, I hit him with Magneto. The truth is because I didn't want to complicate the bad one anymore. This one didn't really have many options. You could take Ozla, which would also be a very good option of taking Jabbo to Storm, Silver Surfer, or other characters. But here, it should be noted that every 15 leaves seconds, as of alternating some skills. In which, if we hit it, we'll not be able to leave the high voltage disadvantage, or in any case, it will become unblockable already. I do not recommend you here Ghost because of the fact that it may leave you with a disadvantage. Here, it already says the defender is hit. There's a 40% chance of violating a disadvantage. The attacker. Then, I do not recommend here Ghost. But I would say carry characters that are immune to the high voltage advantage, or in any case that they are resistant to this disadvantage. And if you can intercept, because once you intercept, the truth is that you are going to get 1 increase in your damage, and the battle is going to be much faster than you expected. Well, let's now go to battle with Cyberdo. Here, I hit it with Warlow, but keep in mind that LS indicates that the advocate is immune to all forms of power manipulation. That is, our skills in. To be able to counteract regeneration. It will work, but it will not. We won't be able to drain him at his power bar. That we usually do with Carlos. Each time an opponent regenerates and is infected. Here what I recommend would be the best way to give it with the devil that comes out in easier battle. That is with Warlow, it also works. Warlow Ninro, no problem. The point is just that as soon as it is not here. This inform you also that the character is immune to bleeding. In other words, Archangel will not be able to serve you, and every time I launch Super Special, going to get like an advantage of Fury. That will increase your damage. Here are several options in the guide, so that you can take it into account. Well, this battle simply has the invasive stun mode. That is, every couple of seconds if we did not launch a super special, will leave us with a stun disadvantage, unless we use a character that has this appearance. We also have the new flow dispersion. Every time we hit him, he's going to be gaining loads. And yes, we are going to have to take him down with a strong blow. So that in this way, this flow dispersion, because otherwise it would not. We will not be able to harm him. And also not to forget, which has a way of that.
In other words, their gain in power is going to be
our strong
blow is going to be increased by damage. But I will also keep in mind that he moves. I don't remember how often it moves. But the more we hit him, accumulating one ability from him. And every time it is overloaded. Yes or yes, I recommend you to stay away. Because if you are too close, will kill you very quickly. More than anything. Because it has a lot of life and a good attack. Well, here, I hit him at the end with Nick Fury. But I could hit it with, for example, Magneto. I could hit it with Valkyrie. That, depending also on their advantages, becomes immune to stun. And above all of its Republic, could be given in any case with purifiers, so that every time they suffer from this disadvantage, then they can be purified, not. Then we do have many alternatives well against. MCOC, the only thing I did. We're a character that leaves the disadvantage of slowness, so that in this way, don't complicate my battle. The only thing to keep in mind is that their skills, unstoppable, will increase. That's why
Let
I
someone
told you.
who
leaves slowness and problem solved.
And every time I launched the super
is going to
special,
get an improvement.
I need
Stunning. Here, I would tell you not to finish
so that
your
you're
combo.
not gaining your loads of
rage, and the truth is that the battle will be manageable as only to bring characters that leave the disadvantage and
of
with
slowness.
that, it would already be a problem solved. This battle, it can be complicated if we do not carry a character. To nullify its advantages, I recommend Longshot here, because he will be gaining several advantages, and one of them is going to be unlockable and gain in power. Then, if it becomes unblockable and gets his gain in power and throws you the super special, believe me, he's going to send you to sleep then. I recommend you, to bring characters that can nullify their advantages. That is why I am telling you that for this occasion. For me, Longshot at Tigra, Jagerna, or the same this Rintra, or whose it may be good options, whose it does not. While it is true, it does not cancel. But the more advantages the opponent gets at, we will be able to apply good damage to it. But it is also a very good alternative to consider. Good for this battle, Yes or yes, I recommend you, with a human torch so that it can be something very fast. Tells us that the defender reduces all
Receiving
damage. 90%. When the defender activates an overattack, is reducing the damage. It's not deactivated. Then I would tell you that here, we can find different characters. But, I would personally tell you to hit him with a torch, if you want to do something fast. Mostly because of the damage you apply to him, for your passives. But also because of stingers. Then, this will make the battle easier. You could also give it with strong hands, so that it is not so complicated for you. You can hit it with other characters, but I also think you will be able to help him. But remember that she also gets skills as power. Then let's try to bring better characters, to encourage them to launch super specials, or in any case, I'll leave stingers on it so that it can take advantage of that. That ability she has, and we play killing much faster. Well, the battle against. I forgot his name. Oh, is called against Nigellus. What I did, was to take. To Kinder it, and all you have to do is go, receding and attacking. If we go backwards, we are going to have an odometer, or well, a chronometer, good for handling it like this. Every time we run forward, we are going to go as a getting. Or we are going to increase the stopwatch. Then what this chronometer is going to do is we'll remove the restrictions from the node. For example, here we are told the attacker's odometer starts at 0 up to 200, increasing as you run forward, recedes and restarts every time he is knocked down by an overattack. Says while the odometer is at 100 or less, the defender reduces all damage based on the value of the odometer. While the odometer is above 100, the defender becomes unlockable, and the attacker gets a fury. That increases our damage. It also boosts his unstoppable skills. Then we have to go backwards. We have to attack, and so on. Now it becomes unblockable. The good thing is that every 5 strokes on our combo meter, we will have a better resolution, which will allow us to block blows. Then, don't worry about that aspect. Don't worry about
is
we are going to
blockable.
have to be hitting it constantly. One of the best options here will be, well, the bald guy, because he becomes immune to ammunition disadvantage, makes its loads move more quickly, and
Will
also
reduce
the opponent's unstoppable abilities. If you didn't have him to this one, the Supreme Sorceress Dr. Dunkler, Bojan or Kindred will be very good options. A Kindred was very good for me, because it also can reduce the opponent's abilities. Then it will be very good alternatives. And the truth is that with him, there is only... We have to wait for him to want to attack us. We step back for a while and hit it, and so we can handle throughout the battle. Well, against Moyo, what I did was to take the Archangel at the end because, every time we knock down the opponent, we any disadvantage of degeneration that we are suffering, we will be able to pass it to the opponent. Then, this fits very well with the of Archangel. Also recommends that every 15 the defender alternates between a passive effect of Fury. As long as he has this passive effect, he's going to become totally aggressive Mojo, and every time this ends, will enter in a mode that will be a super deficiency, in which he will gain an advantage over Rooster. So the truth is that it is a simple battle. The only thing to take into account the new bubble foam. That is, if we abuse stopping mastery a lot, let's get this node. And if we reach 10 charges, then it will become unblockable. The next blow, then I would tell you that move this Archangel a ham. Cool are going to be good alternatives for me. There are other alternatives. I have also put them there, so that you consider good. This battle against Super Scroll, I did hit it with Tigra Stop that way. Not to depend on the mastery of stun, because every time he activates a super special, is going to get a better rating. Stun, and every time he is stunned, our damage will increase, but it has the shooting time number. We had already seen this one before, in which we do make a stop, because our stop, we will generate a burden, and every time we know there is where the stunning will only be activated. Well, the truth is, get along better, 1-1 Wicca, 1-1 your symbiote, 1-1 Tiger, a Supreme Sorceress, so that you can kill him faster. The truth is that you're not depending too much on it, because the truth, I think you can handle it very well without that node. Well, let's move on now against a Killmonger here, yes The good thing is that the node makes the battle easier for us, because every time we stop, we will be able to apply a disadvantage to you. Then, this is going to mean that obviously we can use to various characters in order to defeat him. Not as recommended to carry characters that violate a great disadvantage. More than anything, because it has redoubled non-determination. That is, the more disadvantage we have is going to have a much higher gain in power. And only our super specials will be able to apply damage to you. The idea is that the battle should not be too prolonged, because it has no extinction protocol, which it will do, that their attributes are increasing during the time of battle. With this new power connector, because we will only be able to apply damage with super special, then for this occasion, I would tell you which characters like Prime, the Professor X in Love, in reality, or other characters, because they are going to be good alternatives. Total that if you do not move an every time you are going to throw him his super special, stop mastery to it, so that thanks to this, do not activate your reverberation the next battle that would be against a negative coach. The only thing I did was to bring a ghost. You can wear a character that the advantage can be purified or immune to this disadvantage. Or in any case, we could also carry to characters that can leave the bleeding disadvantage, so that in this way, the disadvantage is no longer at stake. I would personally tell you that if you dominate a ghost, for her, it will be the best alternative. Because thanks to the disadvantages of left to you, you will be able to purify it, and you're going to make a lot of profit from Fury. Opposite case, take someone who leaves the bleeding disadvantage, and with that, we would already be eliminating the node. Let's move on now against Namor. In the case of Namor, the only thing to keep in mind is that we are going to face the node, of biological hazard. That is, we have to carry a character who is immune to bleeding. Or in any case, a character that does not receive much damage from this disadvantage. But above all that we can be close to in love. Because if we walk away, he's going to be getting a power upgrade. And to this, we must also add that there will be one whose name is Crisis of Opportunity. That is, every 20 seconds, we're going to suffer a generation disadvantage. Unless we are launching a super special. And that way, this one instead we are going to win an improvement in fury. And also, the opponent will be there suffering from a generation disadvantage. In other words, every time that counter is about to end, we launch a super special so that we can benefit in this way, either with the node and also to affect the opponent. And not being too far away, because it will have the power node from a distance. I would personally tell you that. That Warlow will be one of the best alternatives, Omega Sentinel will also be a Nimrin, Big Vision is also going to be very Prowler good. Itself. Same Prowler is going to be very good. Because he can also go as if. Counteracting it is gaining power every time he drains no other powers. Then I think we're going to have many alternatives, which I consider to be very effective. But the truth is that for me, Warlow is going to be the best. And well, arriving at the top, because we will have many alternatives. In order to defeat it, among the best, because we're going to have Ultron, Human Torch, Polymortal as the same Gladiator or other characters. For this purpose, I already have a totally explanatory video in which I detail how to fight against it, its phases, and also what its skills consist of. And well, gentlemen, this is the video I wanted to bring a little more detailed. Has been very extensive, but the person who maybe wants to leave completely safe. And what certain skills consist of. Because it will already be able to be done in this way. What I tell you, I thank you for nothing. That you have stayed until the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like. This will help us a lot. Now with my friend, I say goodbye and see you in an upcoming video. Bye-bye.